Hello, everybody. My name is Edris Omar. I'm a student at San Diego State University for Marketing 480 with Professor Yao. I did my webinar on brand coolness. So the speaker was Rajiv Bantra from the University of Michigan. He was the author of 10 Characteristics of Brand Coolness and How to Engineer Them. He had a really great webinar on this topic. So essentially about the seminar, he sort of elaborated on trends in social media, clothing, and brand awareness. He was mentioning how some things die off and some things prevail with the social aspect of it. So, for example, Facebook was really cool about maybe 10 years ago, and it started trickling down. Now things are more in play, like Instagram and TikTok and I'd say maybe a little bit of Twitter as well. So, for example, as some social media platforms get less important, um, other ones prevail as well. So, there's always going to be something that's the cool, and that's where the brand coolness comes from. As far as brand coolness in clothing, he mentioned a little bit how Levi's was once a very sought after company and everyone wanted to wear Levi's jeans, and now not so much. It's more leaning towards things like Nike, Off-White, whatever's cool to people nowadays. So after watching the webinar, I kind of had my own twist and topic on the idea of brand coolness. So why do people care about coolness? There's the cool advantage. It creates sort of a cult following, and I'll explain why I said that. Brand loyalty and status. So, for example, the cult following and brand loyalty. When one person decides this thing is cool for them, they're likely to stay with that brand forever. For example, one person is only buying Nike. Now I'm only going to have Nike shoes, Nike socks, Nike clothes, Nike phone cases, so on and so forth. Everything I'm doing is Nike because I think that brand is cool and I'm loyal to that brand. And this is what the trend is. Nike has done a really good job of keeping that essentially from it right when they started to now. And I think they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And I add another picture about a BMW because, well, a BMW is a BMW. There's no other way to explain it other than it's cool. So there's the aspect of brand coolness. So what are the characteristics of cool? I would say preference, luxury, competitiveness, quality, popularity, authenticity, social status, and loyalty. Now, I kind of explained a little bit of loyalty and a few other bullet points in the last slide. However, I added two cars here. So there's a Toyota Camry and a Mercedes. Both of these do the exact same thing. They have four wheels, a steering wheel, a gas pedal, and a brake. One is a lot more sought after because of one sole reason of it being cooler. Now, exactly that's where brand coolness comes from, and that's where Reggie did the entire webinar on, essentially. Now, preference, of course, people are going to prefer what's cooler than them, what's brand awareness comes from them. And in this case, I don't know about you, but I would much rather a Mercedes opposed to a Camry just because look at it. Exactly. Now, quality is another big thing I think people look for in a brand. However, I don't think it's the deciding factor. For example, there's quality in cars, there's quality in clothing, there's quality in physical attributes. So, for example, excuse me. So, for example, in social media aspect, you can't have quality there. So there's a quality of an app. However, essentially, most apps are going to have the same idea of user interface and so on and so forth. Which is why which is why he explained about how Facebook has been more on the decline rather than Instagram and TikTok being on the rise because that's the trend and that's what's cool nowadays. Now, I think a big thing about social status is people tend to like to look like they're doing well. Of course, anyone would want to do that, and stuff that are stuff that is cool will help them in that situation. For example, the shoes here, both these shoes do the exact same thing. They're both running shoes. One's Adidas and one is Skechers. Um, I think on it. Obviously people are going to be more enticed to buy the Adidas because of what it is and where it comes from. Now, the cool conclusion. Obviously, the willingness to pay goes way up when the brand is cool, when the demand is there. So, what I say is, um, or how I determine it is, for example, there would be two hoodies. One is a Nike hoodie, and one is a Gildan hoodie. I'm gonna pay $60 for the Nike hoodie and be completely okay with it, and I wouldn't be willing to pay more than $20 for the Gildan hoodie because one, I know the exact brand, and two, I know the exact quality that I'm expecting from it, and I'd be much more willing to pay for something that will last me a while and has the notoriety that Nike does. So for businesses, I would say get with the program and get in the loop. Know what's in, know what's out, and know what wave to ride. And the bullet point, be the reason, is sort of me saying, be the reason why people look out for your company. Be the reason why people want to buy your item. For example, Nike is the reason a lot of people want to buy running shoes from them. They have great stuff and they're cool. That's where brand coolness comes from. Thank you for listening to what I have to say. I think the webinar was very interesting and I'm glad I got to elaborate on it.